Okay, so we're going to talk Brock Purdy and the 49ers and how they could further revolutionize their offense thanks to these quarterback spies that they've been getting, or at least that they got from the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I did notice a comment, though, from Silicon Valley Man that is technically incorrect, but he might have had some inside information. Not sure if he did. He said David finishing his burrito. This is Taqueria Cancun. They call it the cylindrical god. No, I have a burrito right now. I'm going to eat this during the show. Why not? I mean, come on. We got to have some fun with this. So, no, David is actually holding the burrito right now, but David is ready to talk about how defenses spying Brock Purdy can be a game changer for the San Francisco 49ers. And by the way, this is from Taqueria Cancun, and we'll enjoy it in a little bit. But we're going to talk about this first. This Instagram right here, Defensive Clips, was excellent in showing the spying effect of Justin Reed, former Stanford safety, on Brock Purdy. It looked like Reed was going to be covering George Kittle in man coverage. Purdy out of the shotgun. Instead, Justin Reed is all over Purdy as he tries to bail on third down, and that's the reason why Brock Purdy could not pick up the first down. This wasn't the only time that Steve Spagnuolo did this. This is Defensive Clips on Instagram. Make sure to check them out. Steve Spagnuolo assigned either a pass rusher or somebody in coverage here, defensive back Justin Reed, against Brock Purdy to make sure that Purdy wouldn't run. Now, the one thing that's really too bad for the 49ers is that teams didn't do this before the Super Bowl, because that would have meant the 49ers had a chance to adjust during the Super Bowl. But anytime that you spy a quarterback, you are taking one of your 11 defenders that could be either rushing the passer or covering. You're taking that defender and you're having him do something else. He's preoccupied with the QB. The 49ers can open more stuff downfield if they know that Justin Reed or any safety or any linebacker is spying Brock Purdy instead of covering downfield. That is the glory of a mobile quarterback, is that he can make it 11 on 10 because somebody has to account for the quarterback. This is what Kyle Shanahan was trying to do back in 2021 when he traded up for Trey Lance. Surprise, he got it with Brock Purdy instead. Purdy, the way that he ran down the stretch of the NFC Championship game was so good and so dangerous that Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs, took notice. And Spagnuolo actually talked about this with Brian Baldinger and company yesterday. Have a listen here.
To Purdy for a second, generally, because early on, I he had a lot of composure. I thought, again, because we're thinking same thing. Like, you're going to go in and you're going to go zero at times and try to get to him and try to rat him a bit.
Back yet. Because one of the things that did scare me after watching the film, to be quite honest, like, I didn't know what to expect with the quarterback, because not a lot of crossover film, right, guys, in the AFC, NFC, and we didn't see him a lot. But the way he scrambled in those other playoff games, that became a concern. Now, I didn't think, we got done playing Tua, Josh Allen, right, and Lamar. And so all of them, you guys know, in the game plan had spies involved, right? You had to. And so I'm hoping, okay, it's Brock Purdy, who I don't know anything about before I put the film on. Oh, maybe we won't have to use a spy finally. We can rush 4 guys. But then you put the film on, and he's running all over the place. So we had a little bit of that in there, not as much as we had in the prior games. But adding all that up, Anthony, to your original question, stop the run, get LJ on number 11, try to limit the tight end to not deep.
So that's Steve Spagnuolo saying that the numbers got all messed up when they had to spy Brock Purdy. Now, again, the 49ers will adapt to this. The first time they saw a quarterback spy as consistently as they did, as often as they did, was in the Super Bowl. Well, Steve Spagnuolo was the first one to show that, and it was because of what Purdy had been able to repeatedly show against Detroit. So you're talking about giving the number 1 ranked quarterback by all efficiency metrics this year a potential 11 on 10 advantage next season. The threat that Brock Purdy showed with his legs to close this year will absolutely have potential positive carryover benefits for the 49ers next season. It is simple geometry. If you have one defender that has to focus on the quarterback's legs, that is not as much focus on a quarterback's arm. Okay, we're going to open this up to 49ers Q&A. We're going to enjoy Taqueria Cancun today. As those of you know that, when football shut down a couple years ago, this was after the 49ers lost the Super Bowl to the Chiefs a couple years ago, I wrote the guide to the best burritos in the Bay Area, which by extension means best burritos in the world. And you know how much a good mission style burrito means to me. They call it the cylindrical god. It's been called the cylindrical god, I believe, in the New Yorker magazine or the Urban Food Log. As you can see here, it is impressive. It's gotten more expensive over the years. Inflation hits everybody. When the 538 did their burrito bracket about 10 years ago, they did 64 burritos, taquerias from across the U.S. I believe that 3 of the final 4, so the final 4, 3 of the finalists were all in the same neighborhood of San Francisco, the Mission District. And before I leave town, I have to eat a Mission-style burrito. Now, I'm all for maximizing time, and I have to get to the airport, and I have to pack some stuff, and I didn't want to leave without doing another show, even though Joe Montana is gone. By the way, Joe Montana has been shipped to Nashville, so Joe Montana is no longer there. But anyway, I wanted to maximize time, and I wanted to have a burrito while we talk about the 49ers. So this is from Taqueria Cancun. It is a chicken super burrito. They flake the tortilla beautifully. The way you eat this is you gradually pull the foil back, and you got structural support because you need structural support for the cylindrical god as you eat it. Now, these burritos, this type right here, the Mission style burrito, look at the beautiful flakiness that we see of the tortilla. They put it on the stove after. It's originated in the fields of the Central Valley. It's for farm workers. They needed a way, and you could read all about this. The history is fascinating. They needed a way to get all of the good ingredients out there in self-contained form. And then ultimately there's a dispute over which taqueria served the first Mission-style burrito in the city of San Francisco, but neither of those two places is all that great. It's all about Taqueria Cancun, in my opinion. Some of you are going to like La Taqueria, but this is the food of the city. Paris could give you the crepe. New York can give you a slice of pizza. Istanbul will give you a kebab. Chicago will give you a hot dog. San Francisco will give you the best out of all of those, a nice self-contained burrito. So anyway, the guide is up there. Taqueria Cancun specializes in chicken. So go ahead and get your dinner and ask your questions about the 49ers. I will be happy to answer them as I eat. Where does the Taco Bell beefy 5-layer burrito rank in my list? I don't think it made it. I don't think that burrito made the playoffs. I'm sad to say that I ate a lot of Taco Bell when I was a kid, and now I can eat this. Steve thinks that La Taqueria has the best one. All right. All right, let's go. Let's talk some football. I've got water. I didn't bring a beer. I'll drink beer at the airport. It'll be good. My season ends today. And if you want to talk more burritos, we can do so later. We should have a taqueria meetup at some point. I might head to a Leeds United preseason game. My wife, she wants to go to Wimbledon, so I said, okay, I'll take you to Wimbledon. And then we might try to swing by Leeds to check out a game. So I'll let you know. 49ers obviously own Leeds United in the United Kingdom. Jalapenos with a burrito? God, no. That's a thing? Wow. I love Al Pastor, but I prefer it on tacos instead of a burrito. Yeah, we'll have to call up Parag for some tickets at Leeds. Parag is now running Leeds United, and he's going to have a busy offseason for the 49ers. Brian Burns would be expensive. We'll see if the 49ers can fit somebody like that in their budget, but Carolina was certainly not the spot for him. If I'm Brian Burns, I want to get out of that franchise. Oh, are the Olympics this summer in Paris? Wow, I lost track of time. That's crazy. Rick says, please tell me Staley isn't a serious candidate for DC. You know, I haven't talked to Kyle Shanahan in a couple days. We're kind of giving the 49ers some space right now as they operate through the remnants of this defeat. But I'll tell you what, if they bring Brandon Staley in, not so sure that Nick Bosa would be too happy. He doesn't want to play that drop back linebacker role. They'd have to change schemes. I think Shanahan's preference is to stay in the 4-3 and not switch things around to the 3-4. But what do I know at this point? Well, let's wait till some of these clues come out. But I just think that Staley, people say, yeah, he had a great season coordinating the Rams in 2020, but it's more than just that. You've got to, I mean, this is a situation where you've got to meld with what the 49ers already have. I've raced Michael Phelps before. So yeah. I guess that's a fun fact I've never shared. But I have met Olympic swimmers. The answer is an affirmative. The next press conference, the next media availability is going to be the NFL Combine. A week from tomorrow, I'll be leaving to Indianapolis for the NFL Combine. Man, this thing is unbelievably big. Just they made a good one for me. They knew I was leaving town, so this is a true super burrito from the Mission District. Taqueria Cancun, by the way. It's the final Mission style burrito of the season. All right, keep the 49ers Q&A coming. It's not Brian Staley, it's Brandon Staley. I would think that the players are taking some time right now to detox for about a week, but most of these guys are going to get hungry and want to at least be back in the weight room, I'm guessing, by Monday. I think that this is the 1 week that you just do nothing, but the itch is going to be back. You start to, what happens is that the heartbreak is replaced by the sheer amount that you start missing the game of football. That's what's going to happen. You know, the heartbreak is something that happens in the moment when you've been training all year and you haven't been separated from football at all. Then you take a few days off and then you want to get back and ready to go. Why didn't the 49ers fire Wilkes during the season? I don't think that Kyle Shanahan wanted a distracting disruption. I'm not sure that he really had anybody on the staff that was experienced enough to call the defensive plays. So I think that Shanahan started adding a lot of his input right around the bye week. And who knows? It might have taken up some of his brain power and adjustment processing time during the Super Bowl if he had to call or help out at the very least with both sides of the football. But that being said, I think that he was hoping to just make it to the finish line. He was hoping to patch things together and make it to the finish line. And unfortunately, the 49ers just didn't quite get the defensive improvement that they needed on a consistent level. They got a little bit better at the bye week, but then it slid over the course of the regular season. The playoffs weren't very good. The Super Bowl was the best game out of the playoffs for that San Francisco defense. All right, 49ers Q&A, let's go. Man, this is good today. Interior O-line is a very high priority, yes. Very high priority for the 49ers. Right guard spot's got to get better, and Aaron Banks gave up 5 pressures in the Super Bowl. That wasn't great either. I think we do need to find out where Kyle's favorite burrito is, but I think he lives down in the South Bay, not up here in the city, so they won't be as good. Buddy of mine gave me the Montana statue, but it's currently in the UPS system, so we don't have it for the background of this show. My opinion, the key to getting the run defense back on track is to, well, the first key was to replace the defensive coordinator. Steve Wilkes had never coordinated a good run defense because he was so focused on pass defense, and he had a lot of Fred Warner covering far downfield. They need to make sure the linebackers are committed to stopping the run first. And it never seemed to be a consistent commitment from Steve Wilkes. Kyle Shanahan, it seemed to me he made it be a consistent commitment coming out of the bye week after they got torched by Minnesota and Cincinnati. And even Cleveland ran the ball well against them in the 3-game losing streak. So when they came out of the bye week against Jacksonville, the 49ers were running 5-man fronts. And those 5-man fronts got them, in good position to stop the run. And that turned the season around. But obviously, it didn't last long enough for the 49ers to have the dominant defense that they needed. This isn't true at all. Kansas City was aggressive against the run on early downs, but the 49ers threw the ball effectively in this game. Brock Purdy was damn good. He went toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes. If you're going to say the 49ers couldn't throw in this game, you might as well just say Patrick Mahomes couldn't throw either. That's a completely stupid analysis of what happened. The 49ers couldn't protect, is what the issue was. They had 9 unblocked pressures on blitzes, but they certainly could throw. Brock Purdy made a lot of good plays. That's not the 49ers problem, but it's one of those things where just watch the tape and you'll see what's going on the field. Well, the 49ers need to incorporate Purdy's legs to the extent that it draws a spy from the opposing defense, so that way he can punish them with his arm once that spy gets out there. By the way, take a look at this. This is what I wrote. It's been like 4 years now, but this was El Farolito. This is the assembly style burrito line. That's how they roll them up in San Francisco. Oh, you got a little bit more here. I respect El Farolito. They're the place that's open till 4 a.m., but I'm a Taqueria Cancun guy. And then we had our full kind of look at all of the burritos in San Francisco. Definitely worth a try. If you're into the food of the city, this is the food of the city. 100%. All right, I'm ready for more questions. Nashville is known for burritos? What are you talking about? That's great news for me that I didn't know of until now, if that's true. The 49ers already do run some quarterback spies. It's a matter of when you run them, and the read option is different than spying on the quarterback. You spy on a QB who's throw first, but can also run, right? So, I mean, a spy is not a groundbreaking defensive technique. It's used around the NFL against mobile quarterbacks. The thing is that when it is used, it makes your pass defense weaker, and I think the 49ers can capitalize on that. Thank you, Colin. I appreciate you. It was a very, very memorable season. Look, I'm working on the Taqueria Cancun. We're about halfway through. Go for Baroque. He's learning something new every day. Maybe the linebackers coach for Kansas City might be worth looking at for defensive coordinator, but Steve Spagnuolo is Steve Spagnuolo. I mean, he's one of the greats of all time. 4 Super Bowl championships. I mean, he held the Patriots in 2007. They were 18-1. He held Tom Brady and those New England Patriots to 14 in the Super Bowl. Imagine losing that if you're New England. 18-0 and you lose to Steve Spagnuolo. Yeah, the 49ers do run the Carroll defense. The problem is that Carroll hasn't coordinated, I don't think, since he coached the 49ers in 95 and 96. It's been a long time. What show do I enjoy being more on, McAfee or Eisen? I like both, and they're both very different. McAfee's way less formal. McAfee will call you up right before you're going on. Eisen is a little bit more of a process. I think they both do an awesome job, though, covering the NFL. I appreciate you. Mig. As you can see, the structural support for the burrito is still there. We're working our way down. So I was in the bay earlier today. I swam, even though it's raining and cold. When you get in the bay and swim, no wetsuit. I didn't know wetsuit today. And you go through that chill, you get really hungry. It's like your body turns into survival mode. That's pretty cool. Mike thinks that Eisen is the voice of the sport of football. I can say that Eisen has great questions and Pat has great questions. They both do their homework before they have me on. This is a chicken super burrito from Taqueria Cancun. My spot, 19th and Mission. My last show in San Francisco, I figured I would honor the city, honor the community, and get a nice Mission-style burrito. I'm reading your super chat right now. Thank you. To be honest, like, guys, I'm sitting here and there's hundreds of comments coming in. Sometimes I'll see them, sometimes I won't. So I appreciate it, but nowhere on the channel is it written that I have to answer anything because I just don't see it sometimes. So I do my best and we go from there. What do the economists have to say about San Francisco? All right, let's get this 49ers Q&A ramped up. I have a few more bites here. You have your chance before I go to the airport. Trips this offseason. Nothing booked yet. I've been so plugged into 49ers coverage. I'm thinking about going to Turkey. I want to go to Turkey. I want to take my wife to Turkey. And if she doesn't want to come, then I'll just go on my own. But I'm excited about that. I'm going to take my wife to London and England. I'm going to take her to Wimbledon. She's really excited about that. You can ask her about it when she's on the show. You might see some more of her on the show coming up, by the way. I'm going to the NFL Combine, NFL owners meetings. They're going to be in Orlando. Let's say bye to Gopher Broke. See ya. He's been a good contributor all year. Good. I'm glad somebody is here to compliment me on my burrito eating technique. It's not easy to be on camera eating a burrito, but the structural support with the foil is still there. You know, the mission style burrito, what I'm eating, actually has its own Wikipedia page. That's it right here. Look at that. No, we need to send them a better. Well, that picture's okay. Shredded pork and rice, but I think we could put up a better picture. This thing, Mission Burrito, history, culture and politics, spread and influence, production, eating technique, right here. The eating technique of the Mission Burrito. Diners eating Mission Burritos customarily forego utensils entirely and eat the burrito with their hands, tearing the foil gradually down as they eat from above, but keeping the foil on the bottom to continue to support the structure of the uneaten portion. So that's what I'm doing right now. I want the structure of the uneaten portion to remain intact. I'm not telling you how to eat the burrito. The Wikipedia page is telling you. You see it right there. Who was in Napa? A defensive coordinator candidate was in Napa. Are there rumors around here? Just looking at the chat. I don't think the 49ers stand to getting the comp picks from coaches leaving. Nobody got hired as a head coach. You'd have to be hired as a head coach. Oh my God, the AI boom in San Francisco. It is crazy. They just released a new video AI interface. You give it a prompt and it makes what looks like a Hollywood cinematic movie out of the prompt you give it. That was the point. You're supposed to get hungry. You're supposed to go to Taqueria Cancun. This is my final mission style burrito of the season. I've been working hard. I think I deserve to sit back and eat a burrito as I talk about the 49ers. We're talking about Brock Purdy and the spy that the Chiefs ran. That's Justin Reed. That is an extra defender dedicated to Brock Purdy and his legs. And that is something the 49ers can counter adjust to, assuming they see more of it next year, which I'm sure they will. That's something that can take this offense from where it's at now, was number one this year, and make it even more efficient. I think that's tremendously exciting news for the 49ers because they've been looking for a quarterback who can hurt teams with his legs. That's obvious, and they have that in Brock Purdy. The fact that the Chiefs ran a spy against him was an acknowledgement that Purdy is that guy that can hurt you with his legs, and that could give Kyle Shanahan the numbers advantage that he wants. All right, back to this. Special teams, the coverage units need to be better. They need to make sure they don't bleed too much talent on those coverage units. Injuries always hurt coverage units too, but they I don't think they were particularly good in kick coverage this year. Moody's got to boot a few more through the end zone. I thought Moody was decent as a kicker this year. He's got to take the next step as a kicker. I thought Mitch Wishnowsky had a really good season. You know, we're not talking about it much because they didn't win the Super Bowl. But Chris Conley in punt coverage, down 2 of those, way deep. Wishnowsky was the one to boot at them. That was impressive stuff. Oh, we got something from Colin. I didn't see. Okay, Mike just let me know. Who is, you're asking about George Kittle. Before I put this up, I'm going to look. Thank you, Colin. Is George Kittle related to Jess Settles, Iowa sports legends, former Iowa basketball player, college basketball analyst? I'm looking it up. I don't know. I didn't think so. I hadn't heard that. Oh, yeah, no, he is. It looks like they might be there might be a distant relation here. As you could see, I just Googled it. Pair of Iowa cousins, family tradition. Awesome. All right, there you go. Hopefully that answers your question. I go to 19th and Mission, Taqueria, Cancun. All right, the rest of this is going to be far too messy to eat on camera. So I'm going to finish it as soon as we're done. And we're probably going to be done here in a couple minutes. Steve thinks somebody's going to pay Sam Darnold at least $10 million. I think Sam is going to get a chance to compete for a starting job somewhere. He's not going to get that chance with the 49ers, obviously, with Brock Purdy. Good for him. And if that happens, that's fine with San Francisco. They just have to find another reputation repair project at that quarterback position. All right. This was fun. I got to eat a burrito on air. Final one of the season. It's been a ride. It's been a pleasure. Everybody, thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate you. Hopefully you got one last little good piece of Brock Purdy insight there. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Everybody, so long.